Hey, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Oh my gosh, crazy.
You're in the middle of your day and you're still joining us. You are a rock star.
Oh, yes, we just finished.
Oh my gosh. Well, I hope your lunch arrives. So, for those of you who don't know,
Oh,
our Recipe Advisory Council is going to be joining us. So, let's give everybody a minute to get in. It looks like I have a request in the queue. I don't know what to do with that. Maybe Laura can help me with that, or Kristen. What is our Recipe Advisory Council? If you haven't had a chance to look at our newly designed NutriSmart website, it will describe for you what we embarked upon pre-COVID. And I will give this gentleman here, Mr. Bob Gorman, some kudos for kind of poking me and saying, hey, listen, we all want to be able to develop recipes and we want to have a voice and have Pasonic help us do that. And we don't always want to have to pay for that, right? Hi, Marsha. I see her.
Hi.
So what Bob suggested is that we get together a peer group, and we did. And so hopping on here, you'll see all of our peer partners coming on board. We're missing one today. Dawn Johnson is from East Cleveland, and she is in the throes of summer feeding, as is Bob. Hers actually conflicted with this time slot. Bob graciously just got done. I just saw him removing his mask, and now he's got to eat something. So I hope your lunches are here. Dawn's listening though, so she can definitely type in some things. I'm glad. So again, our Recipe Advisory Council is just that. It's a group of like-minded colleagues who really want to see the best nutrition possible for kids. And so, for us, we know we're stronger together. I've been saying that. The first person that kind of poked me to this endeavor was Bob Gorman. I also sit with Bob on the Feed Our Future board. So this guy is like duly trying to keep involved in supporting schools, not just Parma City, who he leads fearlessly, I will say, into continued summer feeding and to now virtual feeding. But Bob is a friend and colleague and supporting all things Feed Our Future local as well. So wave, Bob. Thank you for being a part of our day today. I see two beauties. I feel like the Birdie Bunch with us. Many of you know that smiley face right there, Miss Marsha. I just love you and your energy. We asked Marsha to be a part of our panel, and she said, I don't think I need to be on it, sis. I get all my ideas from you. And I said, oh no, honey, you've been giving me ideas for years. And so what I know about Marsha is her enthusiasm for school food service is just contagious. And so we hope if you're joining us, you're going to just love her little sweet face and smile as much as I do and feel inspired by her thoughts as we move into a new year. And then there's my girl, Brianna. We started back working together way back when she got back into school food service at Garfield Heights. And now she is the fearless leader of Berea City Schools. So she too is her first year jumping into summer feeding. All things helping to manage back to school planning. And so we are certainly just proud and excited to have three of our guests. We do have Diana Hill joining us. I'm hoping that she can get in. Maybe one of my team members can try to help Diana if she's having a hard time. But what I want to do and what we thought we would do is, first of all, I hope you guys all got your lunch. So that was Healthy Pro gave me that idea. When I had a meeting with them, they sent me lunch and I said, well, isn't this good? What we miss most about in-person training is eating food, right? We're all used to getting food and like talking about food menus and trying food. And so I thought if I was going to ask you guys who graciously, again, we started this endeavor pre-COVID, this team has met on a monthly basis, really to talk through spearheading recipe concepts that Pasonic is developing within our database and sharing out to all of you. So if you're interested in Recipe Advisory Council recipes, please reach out to us. Again, we have all committed to sharing recipes. We are not competitive restaurants. So what works well in some of our like districts, why reinvent the wheel? These are things that these guys have vetted. What I like about that is we put notes in our Healthy Pro recipes from like best practices, what to serve it in, tips and tricks, HACCP guidelines. So again, if you have fretting that you don't have recipes for the new year, you don't have a plan, it's not just Pasonic, it's the wonderful partnership we have on this panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw out a question and we're kind of going to do a once around. And then, each one of our RAC members brings such a specialty to this group. So we might pick on them for that because I just am so proud of the efforts they're doing in certain aspects of child nutrition. So the first question is, and I'll start with Bob, Bob, do you have a menu plan for the fall? And just give me a quick description. We're working on that.
No. I have a menu plan in my head. We have recently swapped from a hybrid model to we're closed for 9 weeks model. So we're going to continue doing kind of like what we're doing now, which is kind of like bulk. So with that said, it's kind of, I need to build menus for that. But with that said, while I don't have a lot of scratch cooking that'll be going into the bulk feeding, one of the things I'm munching on right now actually is local green beans and wax beans from Oberlin Food Hub. So I think that's the area I'm going to concentrate on. Are good old-fashioned local whole fruits and vegetables.
I love it. I love it. I love it. We just had another member jump in, Miss Jen Rex. So many of you know and love Jen Rex. We love you, Miss Glen Oak over there behind you. I'm so glad to see. And I know that Diana is working on getting on too. I'm going to pass that same question that I just asked Bob on to Marsha. Marsha, do you have your menu planned? If so, just give us a quick description of what you're going back to.
Okay, yeah, we do have it planned. It's going to be, we always had a 5-week menu plan, and working with Sarah, we've decided to switch it up to a 3-week menu option. And we're opening up full go, just like if there were no C word, nothing. We're going full go on this thing. And, you know, it's going to be trial and error for a while, but I think we're going to be able to do it. And our menu options are going to be a lot of what I've had in inventory. We're going to utilize that, but that's pretty much going to be the way we're going to do it right now.
I love it. I love it. So practical. And you know what? What I love most about what you said before was, hey, listen, we're going with it. We got a plan. And if we have to switch it up, but we got a plan. And I think having some confidence in what you have, doesn't that make you feel a little bit better, Miss Marsha?
Oh, yeah.
See?
Definitely.
So
yeah. And I have a good team, and they're right on board right with me. So we're good.
I love it. I love it. All right, Miss Brianna, your question. How's your menu looking? What are you thinking on back to school planning?
Oh, good. Okay. So yesterday, we just found out that we are doing 9 weeks of virtual as well. So I did have a 2-week menu cycle planned and ready to go for all of my schools, but obviously that's changing. What I did do for the 2-week cycle is I got with all of my managers and chose their top 10 favorite entrees for each elementary level, middle, and high school. That was all set and ready to go. But now, obviously, as of yesterday, I am transitioning to grab and go meals. So again, this was my first year doing summer feeding. So we're doing, I'm not doing bulk, but I actually did just have a conversation with Bob, and I'm thinking about going bulk food items for the beginning for the 9 weeks. Right now, we're just doing nachos, Lunchables, sandwiches, wraps, the little turkey coin, little Lunchable type thing too. Utilizing DOD as much as we can for fresh fruits and vegetables. So that's the game plan as of now, obviously still in the works with all of the news as of yesterday.
Absolutely. And I think you bring up a great point, Brianna, and that is like, this is evolving, right? You know, like some of us had a plan a week ago that transitioned up here in Cuyahoga County because of the Board of Health recommendation to stay virtual. So I think Bob's school and your school living in Cuyahoga County has to consider what the local board is saying about the outbreak in our region. So awesome to be, you know, thinking on your toes. And I love the couple of things that we have already heard resonating is that you're not just thinking about the easiest way. You're thinking about the most cost-effective way using commodities, inventory. Marsha said, Bob saying local. I mean, these are all things, you know, I think we're not in emergency mode anymore, but we still are in this alternate like universe, right? But we still have to think about all the ways we've planned menus before, which is they have to, you know, it's not nutritional unless they swallow it. So we got to give them something good, right? Something that they like. Mm-hmm. And also we got to be able to afford it and rationalize it. And so Jen, I'm going to ask you, because I know you've had like 80 plans already, because you just keep moving and shaking, sister. So tell me a little bit, just right now as you sit, what is your back to school menu plan?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We are doing, we take a lot of pride in our menus here at Plain Local, as I'm sure everyone does. So we're sticking with our 4-week cycle. I think it's important right now. I mean, my frame reduced is about 42%. So of course, for me, it's about getting my customers back. And there's only one way we can do that, and that's really serve them what they want. So we're doing a 4-week here in Plain, getting creative with how we're packaging it. But the variety, is what we're good at. So we're on our 4-week. Fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Well, and I think you bring up a good point. We have to earn back our customers, right? Not only their trust that the food is safe,
right.
But we know we have savvy consumers. We've said that from day one. Pasonic schools, we call it like NutriSmart and School Nutrition 2.0 because we know we have to keep on our toes. We're competing with not only fast casual dining experiences and more kids eating out, but also their parents, right? Is it the value they want to invest in? David and I, as like working parents, we love Cindy at Brecksville. She does a great job, but she does exactly what Jen said. And that's even my baby who's 7 years old is going to have choice, right? She's going to be able to go up to and choose a fruit or vegetable, choose a vegetable, her milk if she wants to do that. The goal is that Smarter Lunchroom hasn't died with the virus. It's still alive and very well known and proven the way we get kids to eat, and that is choice. So awesome. I love that. All right, Bob, I'm going to pick back on you. So I know you said you can't do a lot of things from scratch, but tell me a little bit, what are you considering including that would be a fan favorite that might be something that's a little new or different, maybe something local, something that's just not your typical individually wrapped kind of meal. What are you thinking?
One thing, like as soon as the pandemic hit, as you all know, everything individually wrapped ran out. So I started reaching out to like local, like we have a pierogi guy. So, the guy that usually provides us bulk pierogies figured out a way to make them a serving size in a Ziploc bag, not a Ziploc bag, but bagged them for us. We went to sports. I don't want to say a sports bar, but it was a sports bar, and they made us customized sub sandwiches. So Dogo's was a great partner. They provide the pizza dough for us, but they also came up with a breakfast, like a breakfast bar, like a granola bar type deals. And, I didn't really have the capability to cook them. So they actually baked them and bagged them in 2 packs for us. And, boom, there was two whole grain meals in a Ziploc bag, not a Ziploc bag, but those tape wrap bags. So, I really went to some of my small local businesses and asked them to adjust, and it's really worked out very good. So that's one thing I really appreciated about the small businesses is they were able to adjust on a dime. My pierogi guy's making kale pierogies for me. Kale
pierogies. Oh my gosh!
Wow,
it's crazy. And you know what? They're better than the bacon ones. It's really crazy. So
I love it.
Yeah, so that's some of the stuff we've been doing.
I love it. So what fan favorite recipe are you keeping on your menu, Marcia? What are those kids looking for when they come back to Jackson?
Oh my gosh. Like for instance, at the high school, middle school, oh my gosh, Salisbury steak is like, that is their, and I would have never thought elementary or even high school, middle school kids would like Salisbury steak. They love it. It's a top seller. Our pizzas, stuffed crust pizzas are big. I'm doing very, very little individually wrapped items. I don't want that. I want everything cooked and trayed up and sent. And what's really good is for us right now, we get to have kids coming down to get their food. So those are fan faves right there. They love that kind of food, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep cooking it till they say we can't. So that's where we're at.
I love it. Dawn's chiming in here. First of all, Bridget Hires is giving you a shout out, Mr. Bob Gorman, for kale pierogies. So maybe we need to invite her up to our part of town for lunch, and we'll take her out for some. Dawn Johnson, who can't be on the video with us, is East Cleveland, and she too is using Dogo's Pizza. So I love the idea. We did a pizza trial last year. The kids loved it there. They're creating their own recipes for it. It is a local small business. So yay for everything you guys are continuing to do to support fan favorite meals and kid friendly meals. You know, Brianna, Jen, anything to add with anything you're doing for either scratch or local or fan favorite?
You know, we are in Canton, Ohio, which is Dogo's home. Their son is starting at kindergarten at one of my elementaries. So we're big Dogo. We do the pizza, we do their cookies, we do their breakfast bars. You know, I'm a big farm to table person. So the local produce, I'm hoping we can get that back like we were doing before pandemic, because it's something I took a lot of pride in. So I'm hoping for the local produce to come back to me, and really favorites for the kids, the Lunchables. We're really recreating anything that was a hit in my cafeteria is going to be a hit in the classroom. And I've got a great staff now working on, okay, we have this, you know, how are we going to get our favorite pizza in the classroom without it being an issue for the teachers? And so that's where we're at now. But anything that was a favorite in the cafeteria is going to be a favorite in the classroom, or a satellite, or however we can make it get there.
Love it. Love it. How about you, Brianna?
Yeah, same thing with Dogo's. Their chili bowl was a huge fan favorite for us, especially at the high school level. They love the chili cheese bowl. I plan to do, now that I'm planning remote, the Dogo cookies at least once a week in there. And then nachos is a huge hit for us. So obviously, since it won't be in person, we're still going to package the nachos for them. Nice.
Nice. I love it. So, you know, some of the stuff that we talked about, there's a common thread here. So supporting what we know works, supporting local, you know, I just feel like continue to be inspired by your menu and not being, you know, held victim to like, oh, I can't really be creative this year. I just love that you guys are still pushing the envelope. And, you know, we're getting questions about Dogo's. It is a local to Ohio, but gosh, bless America. After this, it might be, we might make Megan go a little spread her production. But Jen Rex, you know, Sarah Carson and Jen Rex, I think, you know, were the reason that business took off. And so never underestimate the power of school food service. We are one of the country's largest food providers. And I think Bob talked about just reaching out and asking questions. Today wouldn't have been possible if we didn't have all our industry partners, local and national. And so really, I think, you know, again, I kept saying this about being at your superintendent's table. Invite your industry folks to the table and talk about your needs and talk about how this is evolving for your district. I think you'll hear this afternoon during that trade show, they all want to meet the need for the products. Although one other important thing you guys are all talking about is not relying all on individually wrapped things, like trying to think of ways to do the things you've always done, using your own labor to get that ready. Because we know that we are going to have some supply chain issues, right? So I think all of us on this call have talked collectively on our Recipe Advisory Council monthly meetings about, you know, just that in general. How do you continue to have good communication and expectations, two-way street with your industry partners? But I love it. I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to start picking on people's strengths just because I'm always in awe. And again, I feel like the reason I'm so passionate about school nutrition is I learn something with every conversation I have. And these are some of my favorite people to have conversations with. So I'm going to first ask Miss Marcia. Miss Marcia, you and I came from similar backgrounds. I had Hudson when I was a full-time food service director. And boy, were those kids ever used to like getting everything they wanted. And obviously, I had to rise to the occasion to really pick that menu up, you know. And a la carte sales, a lot of people think a la carte sales just mean junk food. Boy, it isn't junk food. They want, these big athletes want separate burritos and extra burritos and burgers. And, you know, people want to come down and get extra sandwiches if they're doing practices. You know, hopefully we have fall sports for them. But we had to think about all our a la carte sales because it was a really big part of our budget. And it was a really good way to continue to reinvest in our school. And I know you're the same. Can you talk to us a little bit about your vision for this year together with how to still be creative to serve your a la carte needs in your district?
Okay, as far as the a la carte needs in our district, it's been, and I know I don't like to say a moneymaker for us, but we all know you have to make some money in this business or you're going to fail. So my staff, they all are very good with, doing like the Dogo cookies and such, all healthy snacks. At my high school, we have a tremendous coffee cafe, and we have to change it up a little bit this year because of the social distancing and such. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the one big garage door. Hi, Diana. That we used to have closed. It'll be open now, and we are going to pretty much be using that as a place for the high school kids to get their breakfast, their snacks, their smoothies, frappuccinos, everything. And that's how we're going to do our a la carte, especially in that building. But the other buildings as well, they will have a la carte, and it'll just be handed to the students. They're not going to be able to piece through them like they used to. If they want a bag of low-fat chips, they have to say, I want that bag, and they'll hand it to them. So that's how I'm going to have to kind of break up my girls to see how they're going to fit in there and do it. But I think we'll be able to make it work.
I love it.
That's
I love it.
plan.
And so, maybe not the quantity of things you used to do, but certainly keying in on the quality of the items that they knew the kids really, really liked. I'm so glad you joined us, Diana. I'm sorry you had technical, but we're happy to see your smiling face.
Thank you to David.
Yeah, thank you, David. He's in there. So we're just kind of doing some strengths, and obviously we didn't get a chance to ask what your plan. I don't even care, because your plan is always to keep it fun. So talk to me a little bit about how you want to keep it fun this year. Have you thought through any? I know you're kind of still waiting on an official plan, and you're likely going to have to do virtual, which wasn't what we planned for when you went away for a break. But tell me about some ways to keep it fun for kids. What are you thinking?
Well, keeping it fun. First of all, thank you for lunch. That's awesome of you. And thank you for my pep talk the other day, because I was really excited about going back and feeding the kids. And, I got the fresh fruit and vegetable grant, and I'm still going to utilize that. And I'm still going to do awesome lunches, like my chef salad. Unfortunately, we won't have the salad bar, but we're definitely going to be making that, as well as the yogurt parfaits in their lunches. We are remote for the first 9 weeks as of today. Still, it could change tomorrow. But I think for the kids, I still want to do fun things, and I kind of wrote some things down. Maybe just even putting encouraging notes in their boxes, or asking them to do Google Forms on what lunches or breakfasts they want next year. Still giving them handout sheets on nutrition for National School Lunch Week. Things like that. You mentioned even having Chomp or someone to be there to help me pass out food so they can be excited when they're picking up the food. We had a lot of great feedback from the lunches we served this year. My girls came in, they were awesome. They packed great food. We had fresh fruit and vegetables that went in all of our lunches. We did assembly lines. So we're going to make it work. We jumped in and made it work last time. I love thinking out of the box, and I don't know. I just miss my kids.
Yeah, I know it. And so for those of you who don't know, Diana has always done the Fuel Up to Play 60, and we'll hear from Jan Diamond here momentarily. But when she said Chomps, for those of you who don't know, Chomps is the mascot for the Cleveland Browns. And so she has had some fun with that. And I think all of us, not only talking to our industry people, but in the community, there's so much support around the energy that we need to excite kids about going back to school and feeling comfortable about that. and excited about that. And so really reaching out to pro teams in your area, Cleveland and otherwise, I think is always a great way to get people really super excited to see the sense of community that schools bring into any environment. So, you know, I know, Marcia, your screen froze, but you can jump back in if you want. Jen, your strength too is just like this whole idea of being next level. You know, you're the ones that's trying like the acai bowls and like really scouring like really good cuisine and trying to right size it. Talk to me a little bit about keeping your menu inspired like that. And you've been a trend leader in, you know, forever. So what are your thoughts for this year?
That's nice, Maureen. Again, the thoughts this year are like any other year. I really encourage people to, no matter what is happening outside of your office, to focus on your vision and your message. Every day I start with a little note on my mirror that says it's about my kids. For today, for 8, 9, 10 hours, it's about the kids. So nothing's changing on my menu. What's changing is how we're packaging it. So if we created something last year at Glen Oak High School, the burrito bowl style line and the sub line and all those things, they're still happening here. It's just going to be packaged differently. So if it has to go to the classroom, it's packaged in something different than if it would have been served on a tray. Or if I'm serving at a curbside, which we're doing here, it's going to be frozen, but it's going to be still the same quality. We're not taking away anything from what we've ever done here at Plain, because again, like I said, we have to win these kids back and the parents back. You know, they're in their minds, they may be nervous about food safety. You know, they might want to send the lunchbox because they're afraid what we're going to be providing them in the classroom. We have to find a way to tell those parents, hey, this is what we're doing to keep the food safe. So I think that's the biggest thing, is not changing. Don't pivot and decide you have to now serve something you've never served because of the situation we're in. Change your thought process to say, no, we're not changing it. I got to find another way to serve it. And I think almost every item we serve, you can really, if you just change the way you think, like, oh my gosh, we're never going to be able to serve a burrito bowl now. Don't start your conversation like that. Start the conversation with, we're serving what we've always served our kids because they deserve it. How are we going to do it? And get your team together, your managers. We all have people in our departments that their minds think in a way that even mine doesn't. Bring them in and hash it out, but get the goal. They're getting what they've always gotten from us. It's not going to change.
Oh, I love it. I get so inspired on these calls. Brianna, tell me about your allergy plans, because, you know, us RDs have to kind of get back to some of those basics. You know, in a quick description, I know all of us are worried with in the classroom feeding and allergies. Talk a little bit about, you know, what you're thinking.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I highly recommend having a good rapport with your district nurse and your school nurses. Huge. Check 504 plans, make sure they're in place, especially with peanut allergies and the anaphylaxis. We need to make sure that we have everything in place, and any emergency care plans that should be in place. We have something called Infinite Campus, where it's our teachers have access to it, all admin, and right in there we can see who has allergies. So that's first and foremost. And obviously on my side, I have mealtime, so all of my staff can see allergies as well. One thing that I noted on here was, right now we have a big population of food insecurity. So some of these, again, like we've said, sometimes school meals are the only meals that these kiddos are getting. So making sure that nutrition is key too. Nutrition, we want to make sure, how kind of Jen said, that we're giving them the best meals that they can get, and highly nutritious. So last thing that I'll kind of say is, we've always actually served peanut butter on our menus, but we're turning to a sun butter sandwich. So they're just like the Uncrustables. I'm sure some schools already use them. And then we're allowing our kiddos to bring in peanut butter. Again, it's a nutritious, cheap staple in a lot of households. But we're, as a food service department, are not going to serve peanut butter. So that's how we're taking the next step forward.
Oh my gosh, I wish I had a whole hour for this. I love you all. Bob, tell me one local thing new that you have on your menu. And I bet you it's in the box if people got it.
I haven't looked in the box, but I am.
It's your friend from the West Side Market.
Pizza bagels. Yes, Terry and pizza bagels. This is just another great way how small companies can make adjustments. We just started getting our first deliveries of pizza bagels. I think it's really cool on a marketing aspect to say, hey, I'm buying something from 3 miles down the road that is whole grain, nutritious, and it's freaking delicious.
Amen.
And it's again, it's good, but it's another great way to market to your community of, hey, I'm buying local, I'm supporting the local community.
I love it. I love it. Okay, we are running out of time and I hate it. The last question for all of you on this panel and all of you watching is, what is your number one go-to strategy to continue to inspire yourself and your team for this school year?
Can't hear nothing. I don't know what happened.
I'm inspired every day by this Recipe Advisory Council, and I'm blessed to have you guys on a monthly basis talk to us and continue to push us to make better options for
nothing. I don't know what's wrong.
I can still hear Marsha. She's so cute. Type in the box there your number one go-to strategy to inspire yourself.
I don't know. I lost it.
And your team.
No.
We thank you. Besides technical difficulty or not, we love it.
Maureen, if you could hear me, I'm low. I have nothing. I can't hear anything.
It's okay, Sissy. It's okay. Type in your box, one thing to inspire, and remember to jump onto the next session in the stage over to the left, actually right under the stage in the session. This afternoon's packed. We have Ohio Department of Ed, lots of things going on. Don't leave us. We'll see you in the next session. Thank you, guys.
Bye.